The Vieste 300 is one handsome-looking thing, whichever angle you look at it from. On multiple occasions, I found myself staring at its sharp lines and neat contours. While it exudes the relaxed demeanor of a typical maxi scooter, there's no dearth of sporty elements either. The front, in particular, looks aggressive with a pair of small yet imposing headlamps which are nestled within a wide and muscular apron crowned by a tall windscreen. The midsection is attractively busy with the center spine flanked by multicolored panels and a long footrest, while the tail section seamlessly blends with the overall design. The build quality and fitting finish are as pleasant as its aesthetics. It's put together really well, and we couldn't spot any uneven panel gaps, shoddy welds, or substandard paint job. We didn't hear any strange noises emanating from the scooter, even after a few days of rigorous usage. However, the switchgear could do with better tactility, and the boot opening button needs to be much more sensitive to your inputs. It requires a very hard press to operate. Straddling the Vieste isn't as easy as a conventional scooter, courtesy of the center spine. You either have to swing your leg over the spine or the seat, as you do on a motorcycle. But once you're in the saddle, the Vieste feels quite easy to lift off the stand and push around, although its 147 kg curb weight suggests otherwise. The riding posture it offers felt nice and comfortable initially. You sit upright holding the pulled-back handlebar, with your feet outstretched on the long footboard, or in a conventional position. But after a couple of hours on the saddle, I realized I couldn't move back because of the tiny hump in the middle of the seat. Also, when you keep your legs at the back, in a more traditional scooter-like riding stance, your heels are angled outwards due to the bulk at the rear section of the center spine, under the seat. Moreover, had the handlebar been placed higher and farther, it would have made for a more relaxed maxi scooter-like riding position, especially for someone as tall as me at 5 feet 11 inches. Now, the ergonomics of the Vieste don't pose as big a problem as its suspension. It gets telescopic forks up front and dual shock absorbers at the back, and this is a rather stiffly sprung setup, especially the rear. Every time you go over a set of small rumblers, shallow potholes, or sharp road joints, the Vieste bounces and transfers the shock to your back. And the slower you try to cross these hurdles, the worse it feels. For instance, I went through a closely spaced set of 3 rumblers at 15-20 kmph and the scooter relentlessly bounced its way. Then, I tried taking the same course at nearly 35 kmph and the shock wasn't as intense. However, being fast doesn't work while going over high-amplitude, rounded bumps as you get thrown off the seat due to the fast rebound. On the positive side, the Vieste felt quite planted on the highway even at speeds of about 80-90 kmph, and minor undulations never made it unstable. Propelling the Vieste is a 278.2 cc, liquid-cooled, 4-valve engine which is mated to a CVT gearbox via a belt drive system. This unit churns out 18.4 bhp at 6,500 revolutions per minute and 22 Nm of torque at 6,000 revolutions per minute. Interestingly, the motor performs as impressively as these numbers suggest. As you crank up the engine, it settles into a vibey idle that keeps shaking the mirror and handlebar until you get going. And when you roll on the throttle, the Vieste darts ahead with vigor and urgency. While it's decently quick off the line, the meat of performance truly lies between 30-70 kmph, which makes it a very sprightly, quick, and effortless city runabout. The Vieste impresses on the highway as well. Cruising down a wide open road at 80-90 kmph feels like a cakewalk, and overtaking from those speeds isn't a task either. On a straight and empty patch of highway, I could speed it up to 125 kmph. The beauty of this motor is that it feels smooth and vibe-free throughout, except for when it's idling. Things would have been more likable if the throttle was a little lighter